For all your TCG needs, make sure to check out alphatradingcardgames.com. Hey, what's poppin' everybody? It's a Saber94 on the Whimsy G Players channel. Today I'm gonna do a little Bloodborne guide video regarding the NPCs and the choices you got to send them either on iosefka's clinic, or at the beggar dude at the Erden Chapel, the blind dude. That's kind of creepy. So if you guys know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but if you're a Bloodborne beginner, know that it's impossible to get every single rune item, just collect everything for the master completionists there that want to get everything. It's impossible to do that on one playthrough. You gotta do at least 2 playthroughs if you want to get everything. But if you just want to do one playthrough and not go into New Game Plus on a specific character so that, I don't know, I guess when you can become strong, you can just walk around and make all the enemies your bitch, they're going to be weaker. If you go to New Game Plus, they become stronger. But if you want to do only one run and maybe do PvP or PV, you don't want to go to New Game Plus, there are some decisions you can make with the NPCs to get the best value, in my opinion, by just doing one playthrough. And I'm going to talk about the decisions right now. We're going to go through all of the characters. So, Arianna, Woman of the Night, the first bitch. So this one is really easy to talk about. She's very valuable. By sending her in the Erden Chapel, you can get her blood vial until you can get the saint woman, Adella. Her vial is better, but until you get Adella, Arianna, you can get her free vial, and do make use of the free vials you get from both of the women, because you can use it, you can just go back and get another one, and it saves you on the regular blood vials. It sort of gives you better value. So that's the one use why we want her in Erden Chapel. The other reason, of course, is that once you go through the end of the game, through her quest, you get a umbilical cord. And this is pretty valuable for the endings. And if you're not going to go for the endings, you know, you're just going to stay into the first playthrough, you're not going to go to New Game Plus, I mean, it's still pretty good because you consume that, you get 3 insight. So you really have nothing to lose. And if you send her to iosefka, I mean, I don't even think you get a rune. You just get her shoes. Maybe you get some sort of useless rune, but I don't even know. But even if you'd send her iosefka, you get an insight, you get something else. It's just better to just have her at the Erden Chapel. All right. Moving on to, let's see, the skeptical man. That's right next to the whore. So this guy, he's absolutely useless. He talks shit. He's a smartass, and he's pretty much useless. About the only use, if you can even call it that it can serve you, is that if you send this guy and you send all the other whores at Erden Chapel, and then you bring the beggar that transforms into the abhorrent beast, and he's going to be killing you guys, he's going to kill this guy first. So you don't lose any of the valuable NPCs. That's about the only use, is that he's going to be the scapegoat and die first. But if you don't send the beggar, the abhorrent beast, to the Erden Chapel, which I don't recommend you do, and I'm going to explain why, this guy has no use being there too. He just sits there and talks shit. So I always send him to iosefka's clinic because it's what he deserves. And because useless guys like these, if we send him to iosefka's clinic, is good, because iosefka gives us insight, and insight is very, very valuable, especially if you're gonna do one playthrough, if you don't want to fuck around too much with the chalice dungeons, even though I recommend you do. But whether you do, whether you don't, I mean, if you want to get a lot of blood rocks, or just have easy ways to buy bloodstone chunks and just get the good shit from the insight bath messenger, you're gonna need a lot of insight. So every little insight counts, especially if you're not the best player, and the brain suckers, they always get you and you lose insight from those fuckers too. You know, you're gonna be losing insight. So you sending this useless guy to iosefka to get that one free insight and some other good shit is good. So this guy, easy, you just send him to iosefka's clinic, 100%. Same for the lonely old woman, the old bitch. She's also an asshole to you, even though you help her. The only benefit you get from having the Earthen Chapel is getting sedatives, and that's not really a big benefit. You don't, at least the way I play the game, I can go through the areas where we fight against the frenzy bitches, you know, the really difficult enemies in Nightmare Mensis and in the DLC, and then the Frontier. You're not gonna need like 100 sedatives. You get a few sedatives throughout the game anyway, and then you can use them at the right time. Plus, you want to have a specific attire during those sections. You don't want to rely on the sedatives completely. So I don't see a use to sending this bitch there so you can get a couple of free sedatives. I'd rather send her to iosefka and get that free insight once again. So, lonely old woman, send her to iosefka as well. Next up, we got Adella, Nun of the Healing Church. So she's pretty easy. I mean, you send her to Earthen Chapel, you're really gonna exploit, or at least I hope, I would recommend you exploit her vial. Getting it all the time, play a bunch of chalice dungeons and use that. Get that continuous healing, and just make use of her as much as you can, because after you kill Rom, you can get her vial, and we can get one from Adeline in the DLC, but you probably want to make use of her vial as much as you can, because it'll be a while before you have to kill Ludwig to go into the research lab and do Adeline's quest, and possibly you're not going to be able to do this really early into the game, kill Ludwig, unless you're a really good player or you just use help. But yeah, make use of Adella, keep her in Earthen Chapel, because it'll be a while before you can get to Adeline's vial. Alright. And then the suspicious beggar, the last dude you can send to Earthen Chapel or in iosefka's clinic. I always send this guy, well, not always, but now when I make playthroughs for just for PvP builds, and when I don't intend to go on New Game Plus, and I've known this guy's dialogue, I fought him, I know all the shit, I got the trophies. I always send him to iosefka because, once again, you get that free insight, you don't gotta fight him, and that's pretty much it. You get his rune either way, whether you fight him or whether you let iosefka kill him. So you don't really lose anything. The only thing you get when you fight him is you get a bunch of blood echoes, I think around 7,000. And that's not really that impressive. Eventually, we can unlock chalice dungeons where you just kill one of the regular dudes and you get like 5,000 blood echoes. So that's not really anything spectacular. Eventually, if you care about having a build and not going over like 120 or 150 for your level, all of the damn blood echoes are going to become kind of useless once you bought everything, and when you don't intend to level up. Having a bunch of blood echoes isn't as special. So just sending this guy, getting that free insight, which is more valuable, which is more difficult to get, it's just the way to go. If it's your first time and you're going to play the game a bunch of times, I guess if you want to fight him once, whatever. Really, even if you fight him, you do the trick with the poison knives, and then it's not really much of a fight anyway. But regardless, I send this guy to iosefka too. And then I guess the last character, there's one more, the little girl, the young girl, Gascoigne's daughter, the youngest one. You can't save her no matter what. What I do is, because her rune isn't anything good, once again, if you send her to iosefka, her rune isn't good, so you're never going to want to use it. So there's no point in me getting her and getting a damn rune. I mean, I don't even think you need it. You need to get all the runes for the trophies. I might be wrong, but I don't think you do. Because yeah, I don't think I got all of the runes in any of my playthroughs. Some of the ones from the root chalices as well. But anyway, you get a rune if you send her to iosefka. It's not good. So I just send her to the Earthen Chapel. She gets killed, of course. But then you get her messenger hat thing. The blood messengers, blood ribbon messengers, which I actually use. So that's what I do. I mean, You can get an insight from her as well if you send her to Iosefka, but it's one of the things where I make the exception. The poor girl. Send her to Erden Chapel instead of sending her to the Mad Doctor. Anyway. And this is the guide video, I guess. What I'd say the best way to go about the NPCs. Where to send them to get the best value from one playthrough. Getting that insight from the useless ones from Iosefka, and then the important ones, of course, might as well send them to Erden Chapel. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with your friends. I might do some other Bloodborne tips video, but do keep in mind, I do a lot, so I don't have time for everything. I'm not going to stop the One Piece TCG matches either. So keep this shit in mind and be patient if you're only here for Bloodborne. I do what I can. So Saber Wolf 4. Thank you guys for watching. What a